Is the existence of objective morality evidence for God? Arguments of this kind are often called the moral argument for God, and in this video, I want to explain why I personally believe that the moral argument is good evidence for God's existence. Hey, I'm Matt, and this is Truth Snack, my channel where I try to help Christians believe with confidence by answering tough questions and exploring the Christian worldview. Okay, before we lay out the argument, we should define objective. By objective, we mean independent of human opinion. So to say that objective morality exists means that there's a moral standard for our lives that we're actually obligated to follow. So the argument can be laid out deductively like this. If God does not exist, objective morality does not exist. Objective morality does exist, therefore, God exists. Let's start by looking at premise 2 because I think it's pretty straightforward. We all tend to believe in objective morality, like racism is wrong or it's wrong to hurt a child for fun, and we don't treat these issues like they're just a matter of personal preference. At least I hope we don't. If you agree that these morals apply to all people, regardless of time in history or geography or culture, then I think that's enough to show that you believe in objective morality. Premise 1 is saying that if God doesn't exist, then these morals that we want to affirm end up becoming optional. For example, if morality comes from evolution, then our morals are really more like tips and tricks for human survival instead of a standard of good and evil. After all, even Darwin recognized in his theory that if we had evolved differently, then we would have a totally different set of moral values. So there's really nothing special about your moral beliefs. They're just social patterns that you inherited from your herd. Or if our moral standard is like a social contract that we create within structured societies, well, I think we run into the same problem. Then our morality is just a group opinion based on when and where we live. These alternatives can't give us the objective morality we want, but I think God can. Because God is eternal and unchanging and perfect, his character is the eternal, unchanging, perfect moral standard that we ought to live by. So to recap, if God doesn't exist and morality comes from evolution or society, then objective morality doesn't exist. But objective morality does exist. So I think that the best explanation of this objective morality is the existence of God. I said in my last video that I thought the fine-tuning argument for God was the most convincing, but I find this argument the most interesting. And there are some really interesting objections and responses that you should learn more about by clicking on this video that's popping up right here.